Hey guys, it is me, Jeannette, aka Sweet Jean, and I am here for an update on what's been going on with me the past few weeks. I think it's been actually about a month since I last updated you guys or posted a video. And with everything going on in the world the past week or two, it's just been kind of crazy to wrap my head around everything that's going on and trying to self quarantine and just trying to be safe and try not to be out in public and all that, considering that I do have very low I have a very low immune system. I'm immunocompromised. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't have any makeup on. This is just me. And I've actually broken out. I get one of the last symptoms that I get at the tail end of my chemo symptoms is I get this breakout in my face and breakout in my scalp. And so I broke out really bad, and this is actually kind of at the point of where it's kind of going away, or it's on the last few days. And so anyhow, typically what I do when I have an update video, it's usually 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week update. I usually type everything out as if I'm making like a blog entry, and then from there I'll break it down into like bullet points or key points, just so that I can keep a timeline and so that I don't miss anything. And well, I have my long version and I can't find my bullet points where I narrowed it down, and I finally got to a point where I have the energy to get up and make a video, and now I can't find my bullet points. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of going to go over it and pretty much read from the page, because it is like in paragraph form, and I really hope you guys don't mind, but it's a lot of information and I don't want to miss anything or anything like that. So and I wrote this probably about a week and a half ago, so I'll have to, wherever I end up, then I'll just verbally give you what I missed from that point to this point. So anyways, Sunday, February 23rd was my last video, and that's the 23rd of February, and so it has been about 4 weeks. I had chemo the evening of the 21st, which was on a Friday, which was 2 days prior to my last video, which was that mukbang video. It was my second week dose out of a 21-day cycle, and it's also a lighter dose of the previous. Mild symptoms started creeping up on me Sunday night, the night of my last video, during my sleeping hours. The symptoms I had were hot, clammy head and neck a couple of times during my sleep, alternating between hot and cold during the day and night, mild nausea, mild constipation, fatigue as per usual, weakness, and low energy all day, which is what I have pretty much every day. I had to motivate myself and push through because I had to clean my room. I had to separate clothes, wash a few loads, and pack up for a trip I was to take Wednesday, the 26th, in the wee hours of the morning. Uber was scheduled to arrive at 3:20 a.m. for me, my son, my mom, and my dad, and all of our luggage, which included checked bags and carry-ons. My brother Simon, his wife Rita, and baby Simon, who turned 6 months that day, met us there at the airport. They had their stroller with the car seat attached on top, luggage to check and carry on. We also had 10 other additional family members for a total of 17 on the same flight to depart at 6 a.m. to Colorado. My niece Genevieve, her son Benjamin Presley, and fiance Ray drove there to Colorado, leaving 2 days earlier on Monday, making sightseeing stops along the way. My sister Jennifer and my other niece Lily drove as well, with 2 family friends, Rob and Robert, for a grand total of 24 coming from San Antonio. My brother JC was getting married to his beloved Norma on Thursday the 27th of February at a lodge in Breckenridge in the Snowy Mountains. They had arrived on Monday the 24th, or Tuesday, from Austin where they live. Norma's family and friends also flew in from Austin, totaling about 25 for her side. Okay, the preparation for this trip, the airport process to and from, the 2-hour flight to and from, 2-hour drive to and from Breckenridge, the high altitude with thin air, the frigid temperatures, the 3 flights of stairs to get to our condo room, and the activities were physically brutal for me. The chemo symptoms are beginning to lighten up, but my back, which gives me pain on the daily, and my body weakness due to the long-term effects of being on chemo for 4 years, was just wearing on me. I tried not to forget to smile and kept pushing through. I did have to skip a few activities, and although my family was sad to see me miss out on fun and bonding with our official extended family, they also knew I had to rest my body. I held back tears of being sad, depressed, and feeling sorry for myself until everyone was asleep. I let the tears flow, but kept taking long, deep breaths to hold me back from any whimpering. I didn't get chemo on the 28th of February because it was my off week, and thank goodness for that, also because I was in Colorado. I'm glad my chemo rotation worked out that way. I know I said I was hurting the whole time, sometimes less than other times, just depending, but the love I have for my brother prevails, and I would not have missed this beautiful day for the world. If you would like a picture slideshow with short video clips, leave me a like and thumbs up this video so I know that you guys want to see that, and I'll put that together. It'll just be mostly pictures and just a few video clips that I can put in a video of my brother's wedding and the little activities that we did. I didn't get as much pictures as I would have liked, so I'll borrow some from others in the wedding family. We got back on Saturday night, the 29th of February, in our home around 11 p.m. And man, oh man, did it feel good to be in my own bed. I slept and took it easy the next few days and tried to let my body recuperate. I went in for chemo as scheduled a few days later on Friday the 6th of March. Went in around 8 a.m. and I got out around 10:20 p.m. It was the strong full dose, which includes 3 different chemos, and they had a full house. Every bed on the oncology floor was occupied. Saturday afternoon, my symptoms kicked in. I think that since I pushed my body to the limit the previous week, there were times at the airport that I thought my legs or my back were going to give out on me and I was on the verge of collapsing, but I didn't want to complain, and I kept on pushing myself and paying attention to my every step, making sure to keep on good balance because any misstep would surely cause me to drop. So when I got chemo that following Friday, the symptoms hit me quickly because my body hadn't recovered from the silent trauma I put on myself. I hope that makes sense. I was also grumpy because when I told someone I was already feeling the symptoms, I got the impression that they didn't believe me. They had the audacity to say that I didn't want to spend time with them, and I was using the chemo symptoms as an excuse. I explained that it wasn't them, and I truly enjoy my time with them, but I needed to try and sleep and relax and let the chemo do what it needs to do. I was getting a headache, body ache, stomach cramps, and I just wanted to roll up into a ball on my bed under my duvet and moan the cramps away till I could fall asleep. I was sick like this for a couple days before I was able to get up and shower and eat. Then the symptoms became mild and I was able to function for a few days. Then I had to go back on Friday the 13th for my second week, which was the lighter chemo. Symptoms are pretty mild, but I always have weakness and fatigue daily from my spinal surgery. So basically, when I left off after the mukbang video, my last video, the symptoms started to come in, but I kept pushing myself through because I needed to prepare and get things ready for the trip. And then my son, who is so very helpful to me, couldn't be as much help because my parents need more help because they're older. My dad had a stroke in 2012 and he doesn't have much use of his right side, and so we had a wheelchair reserved for him. And then my mom has a bad back, so my son helped out as much as he could with them on with their carry-ons. And so the help that I usually get from my son, I wasn't getting. I mean, he did help me, but not as much as he typically would have because he had his hands full with my parents. And so I wish I had a wheelchair as well. And I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that or to say that because I feel like people think like I'm being lazy or like I don't need it, but I don't think people understand the pain that I have in the back of my neck and between my shoulder blades where I had my surgery. And it's like I don't want to have to explain myself or have to remind people like, I'm missing 3 vertebrae, right? I have 2 12-inch titanium rods in my spine attached to my vertebrae with 12 screws, and my upper body, I don't have a whole lot of strength, and so I'm not supposed to carry anything more than like 15 pounds or something like that because I have scoliosis in my spine and I also have cancer in my bones. And so I went from carrying like a normal size purse to one of those purses that go sideways. I forget what they're called. But they're smaller purses, which forces me to carry less items because a regular size purse full of stuff, because you know how women are, the bigger the purse, the more stuff we put in it, the more pain because it's weighing on my shoulder, which is weighing on my bones, which is weighing on my shoulder blades and my spine and my sternum and my all my bones. So anyhow, so I just wish that I would have just checked my carry-on bag, because carrying it from the car to checking our bags, our checked bags, to going through security, to walking down the terminal to get to our gate, it was just a lot. Like, I don't know, it was just a lot. And so I think my back always hurts, and then to have the carry-on weighing on me was another hurt. And then I was rolling one of my parents rolling luggage, like a carry-on luggage, and my son was pushing my dad, and my mom had her bags, and so we all just were needing some help, needing some assistance. And so we got there, a couple hours in advance because we had to allow for us, counting on us being slow, which we were. And so and that's fine, we all have things going on physically that causes not to be, we're no spring chicks anymore. Like I, my body feels like I'm like 85 years old. Like I just feel very weak, and I just start feeling sorry for myself. And then the 2-hour flight, just sitting in one position, and my neck is bothering me, and I don't want to recline because I don't want to be on the lap of the person behind me because I want to, I don't want to, I just don't want to be in their lap, and then it was just a 2-hour flight, but still. And then getting off and then walking to get our bags, which we had to take an escalator, and then we had to take a tram, and then we had to get our bags, and then from there we had to go take a shuttle to the rental place to get the rental car. And from the airport to the shuttle was like, it felt like we had to walk like 2 blocks with all of our carry-ons and our check bags. And it was just a lot. By that point I was walking, and I had to tell myself, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, because if you stop, I'm not going to start up again, or I'll have a harder time. And if I just keep going till I get to the shuttle, and then when I get to the shuttle, then I can rest. But I was like very, very aware of where I was stepping, because if I would have stepped on a pebble or a rock, if I would have stepped on a crack, or if I would have stepped on the curb not correctly, it would have thrown my balance off completely, and I would have dropped to the floor. I would have dropped, and then everybody would be like, oh my god, Jeannette fell, and trying to help me up. And so it was just like, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't want anybody to stare at me, so I'm just going to push through, and I can rest when we get to the shuttle, and I can rest when we get to the condo. So then from the shuttle, took us to the rental place, and then we had to, luckily there were some chairs, so I sat down and they got the rental car. And then from the rental place, which was, I don't know if it was in Denver or Aurora, Colorado, but our condo was in Breckenridge, so that was another 2-hour drive from the rental place to the condominium. And we were all completely, totally squished and packed in the SUV. And so then from there, when we finally got to the condominium, we were on the 3rd floor. And it was like a lot of snow, which you'll see if I end up putting up the pictures. There was a lot of snow. The stairs were full of snow. The handles, I don't know what they're called, but like the handles, but the side thing where you hold on to was full of snow. I didn't have my gloves out. My fingers were freezing, and from San Antonio, it being humid, to Colorado in the mountains being in snow. And then the altitude was really, really, really high, so the air just seemed so thin, and it felt like I wasn't getting enough oxygen, and almost felt like I had asthma, like I wasn't getting any oxygen. So finally, when I got up the stairs, I was so out of breath, and I just plopped on the sofa. I was breathing so deep and so heavily and so fast that I just had to like calm my heart was beating. I was just like, just try to catch my breath. And then that night we went out. We had plans to go have dinner, but I didn't get to go. My body was just not having it. It was not letting me. My back was in so much more pain and discomfort. I don't even remember the last time I felt that bad, and I didn't want to say anything because we were there for my brother's wedding, and I didn't want to be the party pooper. So I sat out, and I just said, I don't feel too good, so I'm gonna stay in. And of course everybody was like, okay, no, that's fine, we understand. But I try to make things not bigger. I try to make things smaller than what they really are. I don't know why I do that, but I do. But anyways, the times that I had a good time and good memories, and we did some activities, and they were really, really fun activities, but I was hurting. Um, Before I had cancer, I didn't realize that I could feel so many emotions at once, like hurting, being upset, being depressed, being sad, being angry at my situation, but also happy that I'm with my family and doing things. But I didn't want to show that I was hurting because I didn't want anybody, like I said, to feel sorry for me or to feel bad for me or anything like that. So I just put on a smile and I just kept pushing through, because regardless of how I felt, the only way I would not have done anything was if I'm in a wheelchair or if I'm in the hospital. Otherwise, I was going to push through. And I said, I'll just be able to rest when we get home. I'll just be able to recover when I get home. So then when I did get home, that was on a Sunday night, and then I had chemo, I think, that following Friday. And I swear that whole week just flew by. And so when I got the chemo that following Friday, it just kicked my butt again. It just like someone just came in. How do I explain it? It's like the rug got pulled out from under me, you know? Like I'm standing and now I'm on my back. And that trip, even though it was like a vacation and it was a very nice wedding and everything like that, it really took a toll on my body. And it took a long time for me to recover. My body was just hurting and I was just weak and I was just tired and I was fatigued and I was grumpy, and I don't know. I haven't been like that since the first year I had cancer, I think. The first year was really, really tough on me. And this trip was really, really tough on me. But like I said, the love I have for my brother prevails. And I would not have missed it for the world. So anyhow, so for this past week, with everything going on in the world, I've been self-quarantined. I've been trying to stay indoors as much as possible. The only time I go out is if my son needs to be picked up from work. And I stay in the car and I have a bottle of hand sanitizer in the car. And every time I touch something or I grab something, I get the hand sanitizer out and I sanitize my hands. If I need something from the store, my son will get it. My mom has woken up really early in the morning to go get groceries and necessities that we need, and I haven't had to leave the house for anything. I left the house and I drove to pick up my son at his girlfriend's house. So I'm getting out of the house and I'm getting some fresh air, but I'm staying in my car. And I'm trying not to go anywhere where there's any strangers or people that I don't know. But I've just been indoors, and I hope everybody is also doing their part in trying to self-quarantine and not go out in public, and to wash your hands, and to all the things that they tell us to do. I hope everybody is doing it, and I hope everybody is well. And that's pretty much it, guys. I know I've rambled on. I know this video is kind of all over the place. I don't even know if I'm going to upload it, to be honest. So, I mean, if you see it, you see it, which means I uploaded it. But I know it's just crazy. It's a crazy time right now. And I hope everybody is well. So, I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah.